Hi everyone, it's Jess, aka Colouring Bumblebee, and I'm back today with another video for you. Today I'm going over how successful was my autumn randomiser that I did. So if you're new to the channel and not sure what I mean by an autumn randomiser, at the end of summer I randomly picked 30 books from my collection and I used them as books to pick from. I also coloured in many more books other than the 30 that I picked, but I thought for summer I did the randomiser, and then at the end I did a wrap up to see how successful it was and how many books I coloured in, what pages I did, and I thought it would be fun to do that again for the autumn season. So I do have a nice stack of books here that I coloured from that randomiser video. I'm going to move them to the side and get straight into it. So first up, I thought I would share with you my journal spread that I did for the autumn randomiser. Here are the 30 books that were picked out. All the ones with the star next to them were previously untouched. I did manage to get to all of them apart from one, and that is only because, actually no, apart from two, yeah. And that was because I tried to get one finished from this one, but I didn't quite finish it, and then the other one I've moved to December, so out of autumn season. But I coloured in a total of 23 out of the 30 books, and that stretched over 25 different pages. So I will share with you the books that I didn't manage to get to colouring this time and why. So I have 3 books here. Waltzes for the Seasons. I did have a page flagged for Halloween, this one, but the only other page I'd actually coloured in this book was a Halloween one, and I just sort of ran out of time, had other plans, so I decided to leave that one for now. The Cat's Autumn Picnic, I'd actually already coloured in this book the year before, so because of that I didn't prioritise this compared to some of the other ones. I did have a whip that I wanted to finish, didn't get a chance to do that. Oh, it is such a cute page though, and I would like to get this finished. You know what, I'm going to leave this on the side and see if I can get to it over the next couple of days, because at the moment I've based it with Crayola Super Tips, and I think it'd be nice to base the rest of it with that, and then just do a bit of added pencil shading, and that will be a nice easy one, and means that I no longer have a whip in that book. That's the Cat's Autumn Picnic. And then Mythographic Cosmic Spirit, I just prioritised colouring in the 2 that I had not coloured in before, so this one just fell towards the bottom of my list. I do have some plans to colour a few more pages in this book for next year, so those are the ones that I completely didn't get round to. Then I have 2 books that I also didn't get a chance to colour, but I do have a plan to colour in them for December. So from the Colouring Book for a Bright Day Together by Stella Park, I have a page planned as a buddy colour for Christmas. This nice Christmas Day scene is a buddy colour with Paulina Art Stuff. So I did manage to get a page coloured towards the end of summer, which I was not necessarily expecting to, so I coloured this at the end of summer, and because of that I just didn't prioritise colouring in this for autumn. I was thinking about doing one of those little ones, but decided against it. Just got towards the end of the season and I had a lot of buddy colours left to do, and so these books didn't get prioritised. And I got the Desert Fox Warm 4 Seasons colouring book. Again, I've just got a buddy colour planned in this one for December, this Christmas Train, and I am looking forward to getting that one done. I think it'll be a nice, relatively simple first page coloured in this book. So those are 2 books that I didn't get to colouring, but I do have plans very, very soon. And then the final 2 books are ones that I had started colouring in and then either abandoned for one reason or another. First up, the whimsical anime witchy colouring book by Whimsy Tales. I started colouring this one on stream and was getting very frustrated with it, so I decided to just put it away and let it sort of leave my mind for the time being, and I think I will pick this up again next year for October time. I do have a colour palette picked out that I found think it was in one of the colour palette books actually, and I've got that all noted down, so it should be relatively straightforward to come back to. Yeah, I think doing it on stream was a bad idea because there's some confusing line work here, and I just needed to get up kind of close and have a good look at it without the pressure of being on a live stream. But that's okay. Didn't get round to finishing one in that one just yet. And then the World Legends by Eerie. I am still working on this double page spread, and this was a buddy colour that got moved to December as I think my buddy was on holiday, and then I also was running out of time, so this will get finished up this month. I showed this in a recent video and someone pointed out, well, I noticed that this olive I forgot to colour, and someone else pointed out that I missed one here. If you spot any other olives, do let me know. I have olive blindness apparently, but that was the reason why that one didn't quite get finished, from Eerie's World Legends colouring book. Okay, now we move on to the big stack of books that I have got a page coloured in. First up, and I've done this by the order that they were randomised, just so then you have a variety of pages from all throughout the season, and by the autumn season I'm including from the 1st of September to the 30th of November. So for the Kirby Rosanes 10-year celebration book, I did the mushroom dinosaur page. I was asked by Lomart to colour a page and share it on Instagram, and oh my gosh, I love how this turned out. I'm so proud of it. It was very much outside my comfort zone, doing some techniques that I'm not as used to, like actually colouring in a background with the soft pastel. And I think it worked really well because there were these sketchy lines of these mushrooms in the background, and I think just adding a bit of a colour to it just gave it that kind of vintagey kind of sketchbook feel. And I love the colours of the dinosaur with the autumn colour palette, and then I added lots of gold shiny to the page with the Prism Glimmer Mist spray and gold Winsor & Newton ink. It did go a bit splotchy. I think this was the area where I accidentally had it a bit too close, so it's like a big splotch of gold, so I just carried that on, had various big splotches throughout the page. But yeah, glad to have got my first page coloured here from Kirby Rosanes, the 10-year celebration. Then I have Mythographic Labyrinth. This is by Joseph Kattenbang, and again this was a previously untouched book, and I finished this right at the end of the autumn season on the 30th of November. I did this as a buddy colour, and I love how it turned out with the autumn colours. I really took my time shading the feathers and making the gold look shiny gold without actually using any gold pen on it. And then Sakura clear glaze pen on the eyes and the gemstone, so they are super shiny. I tend to do 2 coats of the pen as I find that gives it a glossier look. I then had an accident with my coffee, spilt that there, but that's fine. It's a page coloured and is now a memory to look back on and be like, what an idiot, I spilt coffee on my page. It didn't affect the actual page itself, just the border on the outside there. That was the page I did from Mythographic Labyrinth by Joseph Kattenbang. Next I've got the Journey Through Fairy Tales with the Little Friends from the Forest by Sayuri Kobayashi. This was another buddy colour we did for Halloween, and is this Happy Halloween page. I used soft pastel in the background, polychromos for the main image, a black glitter gel pen for the spider webs down here and on the text on the banner, and then a black glaze pen on the fence. I really like the colour scheme of this. I went very kind of traditional Halloween colour scheme with the oranges, greens, purples, touch of red there. So yeah, really love how that one turned out. I did have a little bit of a sort of bleed through a little bit. You can see some sort of like pinky tones. I don't know if it picks up on camera very well at all actually, but should be easy enough to cover up. So it was great to get one of these Halloween pages done for the season from the Journey Through Fairy Tales by Sayuri Kobayashi. Then I have Mythographic Romantasy by Veronica Kalinska. Again, another first page coloured in this, and it was with a buddy, and we did the Cloaked Woman. I think this might be one of my favourites that I did from this autumn season. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, the colour scheme, the limited palette. I really sort of took my time shading with this. I based it all with Ohuhu alcohol markers and then shaded with Prismacolor pencils. So it does have that kind of like wax bloomy effect, which isn't my favourite actually. I prefer the finish of a Polychromos pencil, which is why I tend to gravitate towards them. But I do quite like how the Prismas have done on this page with the colour scheme that I picked out. I decided to keep the background quite simple. I was going to do like alcohol marker, sort of like faded from a light grey to the dark. It's like, it looks black on camera, but it's actually like a very dark blue grey. And it's the way it's sort of applied on the page is a bit splotchy, which I think gives it that kind of night sky essence to it. So instead of using the alcohol markers to blend, because I was just scared, I was scared honestly, I just used a white Prismacolor pencil to kind of give that moon the glowy effect, and then added some white lines to sort of emphasise that shine with a white gel pen. Or not white gel pen, white paint pen, and added lots of stars to the background. And then the sparkles that were already on the page I covered with a violet Uniball Signo gel pen. So that's like some magical dust that's coming off the owl. Really love the colour scheme of the owl. I think it turned out really well. So yeah, one of my favourites I think from autumn, from this autumn randomiser. That was Mythographic Romantasy by Veronica Kalinska. Then I have the Forest Cuties colouring book by Jake MacDonald. I really love these cutie colouring books by Scholastic. And the page I did, this was my first page in here, was this cute little autumnal outfit page with the mushrooms. I picked a colour palette from one of Joanna Stone's colour palette books. It had this gorgeous muted purples and kind of reddish tones and the pinky beige. And I thought that worked quite nicely for this page. I like the different colour combos I have for the mushrooms and how they kind of match the outfits going on. Very simple, just with Ohuhu alcohol markers, shaded with them as well. In these books I tend to quite like colouring with the light base marker, then immediately going in with the darker one, just because it kind of blends it out quite seamlessly. It does mean that sometimes you have some bleed over the lines, but if I can make it work, you can cover that up with a paint pen or something. Yeah, it's great to get my first one done in here, the Forest Cuties colouring book by Jake MacDonald. Then I have Lunar Colouring by Stratton Peterson. I've already coloured a couple of pages in this book this year. I can't believe that this book had been untouched before the start of this year, and now I've got 3 pages done in it, which is really, really great. That was the first page I did. And then this was the page I did for the autumn season. I love this page. It's one of my favourite pages in the book. And as soon as I flipped through, immediately I was like, I'm not picking options, this is the one I'm doing. And this is what I did. I did have a bit of trouble though with the black background. The marker I used was very juicy and kept leaving transfer. So I had like spots of transfer at the top here. I lift up my book, I don't know if you can see, but there's some like bluish spots. And when I tried to cover it up with a white paint pen, it just turned blue rather than covering it like it usually does. It just had a weird like reaction. When I did the dots in the sky for the stars in the background, that also turned blue, so I went over that with the silver Signo gel pen. I ended up using a paint pen to kind of mask the messiness, and I think that did the job. But you know what? A messy book is a loved book in my mind. It shows that it's a book that's been used and a book that has, like, it tells a story. I think perfection is overrated when it comes to colouring, to be honest. Having little stains and splotches around the place, it's character to your own book. But I based this with Tombow Dual brush pens and I think some Crayola Super Tips, shaded with Polychromos. That tends to be my go-tos in the Stratton Peterson books. And yeah, I absolutely love how that turned out. Definitely, again, up there with my favourites. When I first finished it, I was so annoyed with all of the smudging that I got on the page, but now I look back on it and it's a fond memory. I remember the frustration and being like, it really doesn't matter. All I had to do was put it away and I don't care anymore. So yeah, that was my third page done in here. You saw the first one, and then the second one I did was that one back in summer. So yeah, definitely want to get another few pages coloured in this book for next year. That's Lunar Colouring by Stratton Peterson. Then I have Flights of Fancy by Camilla d'Errico. I think this was one of the first pages I coloured from this autumn season, and it was this Obi-Wan Kenobi. I love him so much. I did the background all on a live stream, and then I think the next day I finished up by shading the bee. I used watercolour paints for the background. It's still a bit wobbly, the page, like warped, but other than that, like not a single bit bled through. This paper is a really good quality and it does handle water mediums very, very well. But yeah, I just used Prismacolor to shade the bee and some silver metallic paint, like watercolour paint for the stars in the background and for going over the lightsaber. I used a quite watered down version of the paint so you could still kind of see some of the purple shining through, which I thought was quite effective. And yeah, sort of splattered it. Had lots of fun with this page and I really love how it turned out. And this was coloured for Space Timber, so yeah, one of the first pages I did for autumn, for the month of September. Yeah, love him. That's Flights of Fancy by Camilla d'Errico. Okay, I think we have a bunch of books in a row now that were all previously untouched. First up, The Small World Special by Alex Oxton. And I coloured this one, The Vegetable Village. It was meant to be for September, but it got pushed to October. And I used alcohol markers to base this page. Found some really good matches for like the aubergine and the red onion. I decided to make it. And then for the pencil shading on top, I used the Artex pencils because they had some good colour matches for that as well. And then lots of the Uniball Signo to go over the dots on the mushrooms, the wings of the fairy, and on the butterflies, on the doors down here. Yeah, I think it turned out nice and effective. I really loved the just soft colour of the blue for the background. I think I just did a tiny bit of shading with a blue pencil around the outside, and the rest was just the alcohol marker and the kind of texture from the paper showing through. Worked really well. So yeah, it was great to get my first one done in this Colouring Heaven special. That is the Small World Special by Alex Oxton. Then I have Walden Nature by Rehan Udesi, or Udesi. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I've been hearing a whole variety of pronunciations, but online they are known as Raider Prints, and I did 2 pages in here. This was the first one I did, again for Space Timber, did this in September, and I used Inktense pencils for this book. I think it was activated with water. Yeah, it was, definitely was. And I tried to channel my inner Erica Elm colours, doing this kind of dappled effect in the background. I basically just kind of used circular motions to apply the Inktense pencil, then dabbed my brush like this when activating it, and that turned out really nicely. But yeah, it was just Inktense pencils, no other pencil on top to shade, and I decided after doing this one that I would make this an Inktense only book and really challenge myself to shade with those pencils and get lots of depth from it. The only other thing I added was some silver Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic. Whenever I want to use a silver glitter gel pen, it's always the Pentel Dual Hybrid because it's the only one I own that's actually glittery. All the others are more just metallic, which sometimes is what I want. Sometimes I want glitter. And I think I added, yeah, a little bit of clear glaze to the windows so they're shiny. So that was the first one I did. And then I did another one, which was this cute little deer. Again, had fun sort of like playing with that sort of dappled effect in the background. I think there were some dots in the background, so sort of around those dots I added some darker splotches of colour. Really limited colour palette for this, with the kind of olivey greens and muted pinks. I think it worked really beautifully for this page. and then just a touch of gold Signo gel pen for the border and also to add some dots in the background. Yeah, I really love how this turned out. I bought this book, I think it was about a year ago. Fell in love with it when I received it and then just didn't colour in it until now. And I'm so glad to have my first couple of pages done. There were loads of lovely autumnal pages in here, but also some fun kind of more spring summery ones as well that will be great to do some point next year. So lovely to get 2 done in a new book. That's Walden Nature by Radar Prints. Then I've got the Enchanted Animal special. This was very kindly gifted to me by one of my friends on Instagram, Catherine at Cath Colours Pages. She heard that I was on the hunt for this and offered me her copy. And I finally coloured my first page in it. I'd had this for quite a while as well, and just something was holding me back from colouring it. But I did this on stream and absolutely loved the process of colouring it. I think it took me 2 streams actually. I did the first stream where I based everything with alcohol markers, and then I thought a good way to distinguish between the background and this central image would be to just use pencil shading for this central image and leave the flat alcohol marker colour for the wallpaper background, because I feel like that gives it that kind of look that this is a print, just a flat colour printed wallpaper, and then this is actually where all the interest is happening. And I think it definitely draws your focus into this central image. But yeah, it was great colouring it on stream. I had quite a clear vision of a colour palette in mind. I think I might have found something online, because I had the idea of this like muted pink for the background, so I started there and then kind of went on from that. Love the little red squirrel, he was super cute. I used polychromos pencils, I think, to do the shading, and that worked quite nicely. Yeah, great to get my first one done in here. This was one where I was like, oh, I don't think there's really any autumnal pages, but there was. In fact, there were quite a few that I thought would work well for the autumn season. I just associate this more as a spring colouring book. I think as of this first page probably. I love that page. But there we go, that is my first one done from Enchanted Animal Special by Kanoko Agusa. Then I have Moonlight Mischief by R.J. Hampson. I did have an R.J. Hampson dedicated month, which was September, I believe, where I tried to colour in all my previously untouched books by R.J. In fact, this one I didn't quite get around to finishing until October, but it was literally the 1st of October. But this is the one I did, The Sleeping Tree. This was as a buddy colour. I just went ham with the autumnal colour scheme, completely based with Ohuhu alcohol markers. It looks like it's a black background, but it's actually a very, very dark brown, just because 1, black alcohol markers have a tendency to yellow, and 2, I never use my dark brown alcohol markers because it's very harsh and it's almost black. So I thought it would work well for this page, which is all warm toned, and yeah, I think it has that dark night sky look to it, but still a little bit of warmth. I shaded with Artex pencils, I think. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. But this is all on a live stream as well, over a couple of live streams. I used a gold metallic watercolour for the moon. And it's kind of got a iridescence to it. Like in some lights it looks silver, in some lights it looks yellow gold. It isn't the smoothest paint. Like it's quite chunky. But I think the overall effect is pretty. And then I used the Prism Glimmer Mist for the gold sparkle you can see on top. It's like a fine mist. There was quite a few pages in a row where I used this Glimmer Mist. If you're wondering what I'm on about, it's this. It's by the brand Prism. I got it from this store called Hunky Dory Crafts. I think you might be able to get it from Amazon. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but from Hunky Dory Crafts in the UK. Yeah, really enjoyed colouring that, using that Glimmer Mist for my autumn pages this past month, or past few months I should say. That was great to get my first page done in R.J. Hampson's Moonlight Mischief colouring book. Then I have Noonor Therapy by Diane Dufour, and the page I did... Why do I have a flag in here? Oh, it was for a possible Christmas page. But that book wasn't picked, sadly. I know it's towards the back. Here is what I did. This scene of them at the campfire. I really wanted to create that kind of glow effect. So I think I started actually with the yellow pencil, creating the glow reflections on the bears, on the stones, on the ground, on the trees, pretty much everywhere. And then kind of did my shading from there. I really love the background. It kind of looks like there might be a fire in the distance, but it was inspired by a picture I found online of this black to kind of burgundy red to deep orange to yellow, that kind of sunsetty glow. I think it really sort of sets the mood of this page quite nicely. Use Polychromos pencils for the entire page and a bit of the Language gel pen to go over the outlines for the fire. I do love using the Language to remove the black outlines from fire. I think it makes it look like it's got that glow a lot more. But yeah, really like how that one turned out. I'm not sure if I'll carry the colours over to there. I haven't saved them at all, but I should be able to remember what I used pretty much. Yeah, great to get another one done from Nuno Therapy by Diane Dufour. Then I have the Cats 2025 collection, and I did my first page in here. And it was this one, Feline Love by Karolina Kubikowska. I was really excited to have this Colouring Heaven and for it to feature artwork by Karolina Kubikowska, because I've recently become quite obsessed with her artwork and I'd really love to get one of her books. I really want to get Circle of Nature, but it's not on her shop. If it ever comes back in stock, someone shout at me because I will snap it up. But I used Inktense for this page. And I was going to leave it at just Inktense because there's a lot of, I'll show you an uncoloured one, there's a lot of sort of hatching and black line work and dots and whatnot. So there's quite a sort of textured depth to it with it being uncoloured. So I thought Inktense, like sort of like a watercolour effect, would look really nice. But when I finished with the Inktense, it just looked a bit flat. So I added a bit of extra shading with my Polychromos pencils and that just really brought it to life. Used some copper and like this brown colour of a metallic watercolour from the Antec set. The copper looks lovely and shiny. The brown, for some reason, is not shining as much. There's some areas where it is, but yeah, just don't know why it isn't quite as shiny, but there we go. But yeah, great to get that one done. I really do love all of these by Karolina Kubikowska. Would like to get them all done eventually. That one's my favourite. It's so cute. But then there's also these Zodiac ones that I really, really love. I'd quite like to get a few of them done for next year, depending on their sort of month or season, Zodiac sign we're in. But that is the Colouring Heaven collection, Cats 2025. Then I have the Polar Bears Adventure Cruise colouring book by, who is this by? Yuki Shiratori. I'm good at remembering most of the names, but every now and then I forget one. And I forgot to say earlier when I showed the fairy tale colouring book from this Tokimeku series, I had a Tokimeku focused month where it was my focus artist and I coloured in a bunch of these books and did a few Halloween pages, which was what I did in this book. I did this one. I did this on live stream on the very last day on Halloween night in October. And it was a lot of fun. I found this colour palette in my colour palette book, the, what's it called, Modern Colour Combinations, the little square book, and just loved colouring it. Used Polychromos pencils for the whole thing, and then some of the Pentel Dual Hybrid metallic gel pens for the border and for the stars, so they're nice and glittery and shiny. Yeah, it turned out really cute. I liked the different coloured pumpkins that I went for. We got a few normal orange ones, but then we got this bright fuchsia pink and purple. It's a really fun colour palette that I enjoyed using. So that was great to get this one done. And my idea is to now get each year do one of these Halloween pages. So that was 2025. This will be 26, 27. I don't know if I'll do this as a double page spread or not, but it could be 28, 29, 30. So I've Got plenty of years of colouring Halloween themed pages in this gorgeous book, The Polar Bears Adventure Cruise by Yuki Shiratori. Then I have Animo de la Forêt by Caroline Aylan. And I did a very quick, simple page right at the front here of this gorgeous sleeping fox. I'm pretty sure this was using one of Erica at Elm Colours October colour palettes. Can't remember which one, but it had the orange, the pink, the kind of yellow, and I think I added in the greens probably. Oh, it had this brown colour in as well. But yeah, that just worked out really nicely for this page. I love the autumn colours and the just little pop of pink there. It was a pretty quick one to colour. I think it took me a couple of hours, and great to get another one done in this adorable little book. That is Animo de la Forêt by Caroline Aylan. And I've got another Stratton Peterson book. This is Mystic Animals, and I coloured this on stream for around Remembrance Day. Yeah, I finished this on the 12th of November. We coloured the ram, so I thought that the flowers looked like poppies, so that's what I coloured them as. I based the entire page with Tombow Jewel brush pens and shaded over the top with Polychromos pencils. I think this took me 2 streams to do. And then I added some of the Lango gel pens for the dots in the centre of the flowers, and it was a gold Lango for the border, because I always use gold Signo, and I don't think this Lango one is nearly as shiny. It's quite a matte gold, but I think it worked nicely for this page. And yeah, it was just a nice finishing detail for it. I really love this book. This is one that I would love to see complete one day. I'm very, very far from it. That was my 4th page I've coloured. Here's another one. But yeah, definitely want to colour a bunch of pages in this one next year, I think. I've got another one around here somewhere, because I did the bee. Where's the bee? Here's the bee. And then I did this title page. So I think I'd like to get both of those title pages done next year for my hashtag tag all the title pages. And then I don't know, one every month, one every other month would be good. But that is Mystic Animals by Stratton Peterson. Then I have Autumn Charm by Creative Haven. The wheel did me very well randomising this book for the autumn season, because it's the only time I will be colouring in this book, if I'm being real with myself. And I did 2 pages in here. The first one was finishing off a long-term whip that I started not last year for autumn, but the year before. So in the autumn of 2023, I had based the page completely with alcohol markers. Then last year, I brought this page back out and shaded just her with Polychromos pencils, and that was it. And then this year, I finally got it finished and shaded the rest of the page. Added lots of white paint pen for the raindrops, and a bronze silver, not bronze silver, a bronze Signo gel pen for the border, which is kind of what I've done for all the pages in this book so far. Just find the bronze one complements the colour scheme quite nicely. So that was the first one I did from here. And then I also did this one of the nice little apple orchard. The apple tree, a few pumpkins on it as well. And this turned out nice and gives me like a cold autumn day kind of vibe with the cool blue in the background. Yeah, I really like this sort of texture I got on the grass. And the apples turned out really tasty. They look very eatable, if that makes sense. Again, use the bronze Signo for the border. Sometimes when I use the Signo, it turns out more orangey, and sometimes it turns out more kind of silvery, like the sort of silver gliss that it's got. Like that one looks orangier than this one. Just depends how the pigment settled, I suppose. That was 2 pages I managed to get done from Autumn Charm by Teresa Goodridge. Then I did a page in Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford, and this was a page that I coloured to match the origami room that I had done opposite already. So I actually planned this colour scheme out on my iPad using Procreate, just to sort of map out the colours to get them nicely sort of balanced. I had 3 main colours for each segment based on my colour palette from this page. So this one's pink, orange, yellow, teal, yellow, blue, blue, pink, not purple, orange, and this one's orange, yellow, teal with green. Green is in both of those 2 squares as well. I saw green often more as a neutral colour, like along with the brown's in all of them. But this one was really simple because I used Staedtler Design Journey pencils for this page, so I used the same ones here and just used 1 pencil per colour and just varied up my pressure to create the blends on here. Used a bit of the white pencil for the jars to make them look kind of see-through. Yeah, this turned out quite nice and effective. It didn't take too long to colour at all, and was lovely to get another page done in Rooms of Wonder. That was Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. And I've got Leon's Journey by Kanoko Agusa, and I did a page in here. In fact, I'm working on another one for December because me and my buddy loved colouring this page so much. We organised another one. We did this pumpkin cart. Oh, I adore how this one turned out. Definitely up there again with my favourite ones that I coloured throughout the autumn season from the autumn randomiser. I really had fun with every single element on this page. I really did. Colouring the cart was fun. That's what I started with, the brown cart. Colouring the baskets was fun. The pears, the onions and apples and grapes, and then I finished with the pumpkins. And yeah, it looks so nice and autumnal, but like fresh and bright with the nice blue sky background. That was the last thing I did. I had no idea what to do for the background parts. It definitely needs one to ground it in place. So I added just a bit of grass and then a nice blue sky with some fluffy clouds that I erased with the Derwent electric eraser. So that one turned out lovely, and it was my first what I call proper page coloured in this book, because the only other one I'd done was the character profile page, which is still a page in its own right. I still count it as a completed page, but this was the first page of like a proper scene, so it's great to get that done. So that was Leon's Journey by Kanoko Agusa. Then I coloured my very first page in Crystal Colouring by Kate O'Hara. And I've fallen in love with this book. I cannot wait to colour my next page in here. It's got this really like thick, bold outline, but it makes for like really easy marker basing. And then the shading on this paper always goes well for me. But I did this one with the black tourmaline with the black cat. And again, this is one of my favourites. Okay, so that's my top 3 sorted. I will share them again at the end. But this was my favourite page from November that I did. I am so pleased and proud of myself of how it turned out. I think I really sort of got the effect that this is a black crystal and it's got these light reflections coming off it. I based the most of the page with Crayola Super Tips, apart from the crystal and the cat, because I wanted to have those kind of colour variations. I thought if I based it, I wouldn't get these kind of strong highlights on it. So I just used Polychromos pencils for shading those 2 and for the rest of the page as well. Another subtle thing that I really like is the yellow that I've got at the top of these clouds. I don't know if you can even make that out here, but I used a warm grey for the cloud, and then at the top edge is a nice light yellow. And then for the border, I used a coppery coloured super golden marker, so that's lovely and shiny. But yeah, as soon as I finished this, I can't wait to get another one done in here. The artwork is stunning, and it had been untouched in my collection for way too long, so now that I've finally got this page done, I feel like I am much more prepared to tackle another one. Like, look at that dragon, so cool. So yeah, really happy that the randomiser picked this book, and I managed to get my first page done in Crystal Colouring by Kate O'Hara. Another previously untouched book was the Rabbits and Nostalgic Japanese Scenery. If you translate this bit, it translates to the Peaceful Rabbit Colouring Book. This is by Very Berry. And this page I coloured on a live stream. The live streams have been perfect opportunities to colour some of those randomised books that I don't necessarily have buddy colours planned for. We did this lovely camping scene, and I'm so pleased with how this one turned out. Now I'm like, I've got 4 favourites because I really love this one. I love the colour scheme. I think it does have that autumn vibe with the mustardy yellow, the kind of desaturated colours. It gives that kind of early autumn vibes to me. I never wrote the date. I think I did this in October though. Yeah, because that was my Tokameku focus month. I just loved colouring every single element on this page. I think I left the bunnies till last and just had fun playing around with different colours and patterns on them, and they all turned out slightly different from each other, which was good. I like this kind of murky looking water and then the bright blue sky. I feel like it's got they've just arrived, it's early morning, that kind of sunrise look to it. I'm pretty sure, where have my colours gone? I could have sworn I had my colour combo saved here so I could bring them across here. I think it must have fallen out somewhere, so I'll find that. Yeah, really pleased with how that one turned out, and it was great to get the first one done in this book, The Rabbits and Nostalgic Japanese Scenery by Very Berry. Then I've got Tales from the Witch's Cottage by Hannah Carlson. I think this was one of the first times that a Hannah Carlson book had even been randomised. The randomiser doesn't like Hannah Carlson, and then it comes up with 2 right at the end. Spoiler alert, the next one's Hannah Carlson too. But I did this one. This was a buddy colour I did for Halloween. Again, I think I used one of Erica's colour palettes, the Spoopy Purple one, and really had fun sort of combining this more pinky purple with this nice soft lavender, like pale purple, and the kind of pops of peaches. It worked really nicely, and then a bit of brown, and then I think white was another one of the colours. And for the background, I actually used tracing paper from Hannah Carlson's Halloween book and copied a bit of the spider web and just kind of rotated it around in different places, extended some of the lines here to make it bigger, and that turned out really nice and effective. Again, I'm pretty sure I had a piece of paper here with my colour palette. It'll be somewhere in the room. But it was great to get another one done in here. That was Tales from the Witch's Cottage by Hannah Carlson. It's the perfect season for it to get randomised in as well. And the final book I have is Tales from the Midnight Masquerade, again by Hannah Carlson. This was a previously untouched book. It was one of the newer ones I'd got in my collection. It was kindly gifted to me by someone. And I did this blackberry vase, and I like it. It's the purple flowers that throw me off. They're very bright purple. I think I would have preferred if it was something a little bit more muted, but it's done now. I don't hate it by any means. I really love how the gold looks on the vase. I love how the blackberries turned out. I think the leaves look lovely and how it really pops off the black background. Yeah, it's just those bright purple flowers. But I used, what did I use? Prismacolors, I think. I'm pretty sure I used Prismacolors for here. Some of the gold starry colours, metallic watercolour for some accents on the vase, and then black acrylic paint for the background. So there we go. Those were all of the pages that I coloured as part of my autumn randomiser. Let me go grab my top 3 favourites. So here are my top 3. Of course, Crystal Colouring was my favourite from last month. Still one of my favourites that I've ever done. Black Tourmaline. I really loved the, where is it now? Pumpkin Cart from Leon's Journey. Get that in frame. And then I also really loved the little camping scene from the Peaceful Rabbit colouring book. So those are my top 3. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments below. What were some of your favourites from the autumn season that I coloured, that I know shared with you in this video? Always love hearing what your favourites are. And going through this video and going back over my autumn randomisers making me really want to do the winter one. There will be a winter one coming, but because of December and Christmas, I wanted to prioritise Christmas pages for this month. So towards the end of December, I will film the winter randomiser. I'm really itching to do it now, but no, self-restraint. Do your Christmas pages first, Jess, and then get onto the winter ones and start prepping them towards the end of this month. But yeah, there we go. That is everything I have to share with you today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.